The observation chamber hummed with nervous energy as scientists from 17 different species gathered around the containment field. At the center, suspended in a matrix of electromagnetic waves, floated the Relic, a crystalline sphere that defied every law of physics they understood. Pfizer pressed her face closer to the transparent barrier, her dark eyes reflecting the strange luminescence emanating from the artifact. She was the youngest member of the research team, barely 23, and the only human in a facility that housed the galaxy's brightest minds. Her fingers traced patterns in the air, mimicking the swirling lights within the sphere. Subject 17. Please maintain your distance, came the stern voice of Dr. Vexnor, a Krillian whose 6 eyes never seemed to blink simultaneously. Sorry, Pfizer muttered, stepping back. But she couldn't help herself. For 3 months they had tested the Relic with every known species in the Galactic Coalition. The Krillians with their quantum consciousness, the Ethereals with their pure energy forms, the Silicon Minds with their computational precision. All had failed to elicit any response from the ancient object. Stein watched from the upper observation deck, his arms crossed over his chest. He was the team's an archaeologist, a human like Pfizer, though his experience and cynicism marked decades between them. His gray eyes followed every movement she made, noting something the others seemed to miss. Run the standard protocol, Dr. Vexnor commanded. The room dimmed as energy beams of various frequencies bombarded the Relic. Gravitational waves, exotic radiation, psionic pulses. The sphere remained inert, indifferent to the technological onslaught. It was the same result they had achieved hundreds of times before. Pfizer sighed and turned away, her shoulders slumping with disappointment. As she moved toward the exit, something extraordinary happened. The Relic pulsed. The entire chamber fell silent. Every eye, sensor, and consciousness in the room focused on the crystalline sphere. It pulsed again, its internal light shifting from cold blue to warm amber. Nobody move, Dr. Vexnor whispered, which was unnecessary. Everyone had frozen in place. Everyone except Pfizer. She hadn't noticed the change yet and continued walking toward the door. The Relic's light intensified, its rotation within the containment field accelerating to match her pace. Pfizer, stop, Stein called from above. She froze mid. The Relic stopped rotating. Its light dimmed slightly but maintained the warm amber glow. Take 1 step to your left, Stein instructed, his voice tight with barely contained excitement. Pfizer obeyed. The Relic tilted in its field, orienting itself toward her new position. By the ancients, breathed Dr. Vexnor, it's tracking her. The next hour was a blur of tests. Pfizer moved through choreographed patterns while dozens of instruments recorded every fluctuation in the Relic's behavior. It followed her perfectly, not the Krillians standing beside her, not the ethereal floating overhead, not even Stein when he descended to the chamber floor. Only Pfizer, she asked, her voice small in the vast chamber. Why me? Dr. Vexnor's tentacles writhed with frustration. There must be something unique about your biological signature, your neural patterns, perhaps, or your genetic markers. But Stein shook his head. He had studied enough ancient civilizations to recognize a pattern. It's not biological, he said quietly. Look at when it first responded. He pulled up the footage on the main screen. There was Pfizer turning away from the Relic, her body language radiating disappointment and resignation. It responded to emotion, Stein continued, to genuine feeling, not just presence. Impossible, Dr. Vexnor scoffed. We've had emotional responses from dozens of species. The empathics practically broadcast their feelings, but their emotions are expected, Pfizer interjected, understanding dawning in her eyes. They came here knowing they were being tested. They wanted to succeed. I had given up. I felt genuine disappointment. Stein nodded. The Relic doesn't respond to intent or capability. It responds to authentic, unguarded emotion. And Pfizer, he paused, choosing his words carefully. You're perhaps the most emotionally transparent person on this station. Pfizer wasn't sure if that was a compliment or an observation, but she couldn't deny its truth. While other species had evolved sophisticated mental barriers and emotional regulation, young humans especially, wore their hearts openly. So what now? She asked, looking up at the Relic, which pulsed gently in response to her curiosity. Dr. Vexnor's multiple eyes all focused on her simultaneously. Now, Miss Pfizer, you're going to help us understand what this artifact truly is. Because if it's responding to authentic emotion, it might not be a tool or a weapon at all. Then what is it? Pfizer whispered. Stein placed a hand on her shoulder. Maybe it's a message. Or a test. Something left behind by beings who wanted to know if anyone out there could still feel genuinely, without pretense or agenda. as if confirming his words. The relic blazed with brilliant light, bathing the chamber in warmth. Pfizer felt tears prick her eyes, not from sadness or fear, but from the overwhelming sense of connection, of being seen and acknowledged across millennia. "It's beautiful," she said simply, and the relic sang in response, a sound that transcended species, language, and time itself. In that moment, the youngest and most inexperienced member of the team became the bridge between past and present, proof that sometimes the most sophisticated answer to an ancient mystery was the simplest one: to feel, truly and deeply, without walls or pretense. The relic had been waiting not for the smartest species, or the most powerful, or the most technologically advanced. It had been waiting for someone who could still approach the universe with an open heart, and in Pfizer it had finally found what it was searching for.